Abanothando kungajabuli ngohlelo lwezinkantolo kwabesifazana bayizisulu zodlame lobulili bakhala ngokuthi iphepha balithole ezinkantolo ngemuva kokubika ukuhlukunyezwa abalingani babo alibavikeli. Bheka njengoba abaningi ukuhlukunyezwa kuyaqhubeka, abanye baze babulawe bephethe leli phepha phecelezi i-protection order. Njengoba sigubha inyanga yabesifazane sibuza ukuthi yini okufanele yenziwe ukuze leli phepha liqinisekise ukuphepha kwezisulu. Kungabe izinkantolo, amaphoyisa kanye nomnyango we-social development benza ngokwanele ukuqinisekisa ukuphepha kwezisulu? Sikubingelele sikwamukele ohlelweni mbukeli, igama lami uSebe Buthelezi uMashenge. Sikukhumbuze mbukeli ukuthi ungaba ingxenye yalolu hlelo ngokushayela ucingo sizwe umbono noma umbuzo wakho. Inombolo zethu zocingo zingo-011 714 0669 noma 0670. Ungabuye futhi usithole kumakhasethi okuxhumana ku-X @SABC izindaba kanye naku-Facebook SABC izindaba. Ukuze kube lula mbukeli, sicela uqale #asikhulume #SABC News bese ubhala umbuzo noma umbono wakho. Ngaphambi kokuba singene odabeni lwanamuhla, ake sibuke nawo umbiko osuhlanganiselwe intatheli yohlelo uNokubonga Mgwenya.
When a court grants a protection order, that order must be treated as a life-saving intervention.
Umndeni esifundeni se-KZN lo walahlekelwa ngumfana wawo Sashalisha lobulewe isingane sakhe ufuna bulungiswa kulandzela ukuthi emaphoyisa ahluleke ukuthatha sibhamu njengalokuchazwe emaphepheni lavela enkantolo lahlose ukuthi amvikele i-protection order ngelwimi lwekubolekwa.
For me, instead of being allowed to grieve, I've spent almost 4 years pursuing justice. My life has been consumed by police investigations, court proceedings, disciplinary hearings, parliamentary submissions, and ongoing efforts to hold those responsible accountable.
Naidu uthi umndeni bewadi ngekuhlukubeda lobekubhekiswe umvanakhe nanekuthi abenayo i-protection order kepha wabulawa kunjalo. Ngemuva kwekushona kwakhe, singane sakhe satithathela impilo yaso sashiya incwadi lekhombisa lapho sibonga liphoyisa. Lekuliphoyisa lelibandzakanyeke kuleli cala lelamiswa emsebentini tinyanga letimbili. Naidu uthi amaphoyisa ase-KZN estation semaphoyisa i-Phoenix aphoce umndeni ngoba kwasetshenziswa sona lesibhamu kubulala umvanakhe lesasifanele sithathwe ngulo leliphoyisa lekuye kwavela ligama lalo kule ncwadi layibhale ngembiko ukuthi atithathele impilo yakhe umsolwa.
It is really painful. I cried and cried for days. I had to go into therapy. It was not easy because these are the people that we trust to protect us. These are people of the law we go to when we need help. And my daughter went to the court. She followed the procedures, but she was not helped.
Ngutiphi letinye taba letingendiwa kuqinisekisa ukuthi bantu labahlukubetwa ngekebulili banawo ema-protection orders bayavikeleka kulokuhlukubetwa nekubulawa?
Kuyafana uma ngabe uzoba ne-protection order, angeke baze baku lelo phepha lengelize kusize vele. Umuntu uzongena phezulu kunjalo aphinde akubulale, kanti mangabe evalelwe kuzokunceda lokho ukuthi nawe uvikeleke.
There is a physical disadvantage and the police does not do their job to protect these women.
Our government is very easy on these guys. That's why they do this over and over again.
Now we are not safe at all as women because the protection order is just a piece of paper to somebody. Akayithathi as into enesindo kuye. It's just a paper angalithatha lahlelele enze whatever.
Nakabutwa ukuthi impilo injani solo kwandlula emhlabeni umvanakhe, Naidu uphendvule ngalendlela.
The emotional impact that it's had on us is overwhelming. Our family's never been the same. You know, she should have been here. She was only 25, you know. Her murder has left an irreplaceable void in our family.
Avele ashabalaleke emacala lamaningi kuhlukubetwa kwebantu labasikati lekungafani nekubulawa kwa Sasha Lee lo wabulawa mhla tinge-13 ngenyanga yeMphala 2022 Ntsambama eGateway Mall eUmhlanga eDurban KwaZulu Natal. Namhlehlelweni sibuta ukuthi yini lekumele yendelwe bantu labasikati labanemaphepha lekumele abavikele bangahlukubetwa njengoba leli phepha lingaqinisekisi kuphepha kwabo esikhatsini lesinengi. Ngingonokubonga Mgwenya etindzabeni SABC leli hlelo Asikhulume Let's Talk ngiseJozi.
Ukudingida kabanzi ngokubulawa kwabesifazane bephethe ama-protection orders asamukele ihambeli zethu u-Advocate Brenda Madumise-Pajibo, who is the director of Wise for Africa, who joins us in studio, kanye noSihle Sibisi, a GBV activist from Kwanele Foundation, who joins us online. Dr. Madumise, welcome.
Hi, doctor.
Advocates, my apologies, I'm prophesying.
That's good.
I mean, we've just seen the very sad, we may be laughing, but this is a very sad story in the scene setup. And you've been working closely with the family and trying to assist them in suing the state.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that?
So when this matter came to our attention, which was what, a year or two ago, she had heard me on radio, I think I was on SAFM. They were interviewing her, the mother of the deceased. And then we asked that she gets in touch with us. And since then, we've been holding her hand just to navigate the entire criminal justice system, right? When she says 4 years, it's true. It has been 4 years of her trying to get justice for her daughter, right? What I want everyone to be aware of and to know is that the daughter had a protection order. In that protection order, it stated that the police must remove the firearm from the boyfriend, right? So it's an order of court. So let's understand that. It's a competent authority, being a court of law, directing and ordering the South African Police Service to remove the firearm, which was never the case. It was not done. What happened was that firearm was used to kill her by the very same person that she took a protection order against, right? So that's the reality of many victims of violence, of bullying, of intimidation, of harassment, whether it's physical abuse, whether it's emotional abuse, whether it's financial abuse. That happens where that order is not taken seriously, right? We undermine even our own court processes. So if you see what is happening in the Madlanga Commission, where people think that they don't even want to give the evidence that they want to give, when you see people gleefully and laissez-faire with the state of the criminality that is happening in this country, and people are just flippant about it. That's where we are. That we, even with these protection orders, where a court has taken time, that's a resource on the state, right? And we don't take that serious, and we think that it is just a playground where because you know that there are no consequences, by the way, right? So no one will come and look for that gun, which happened in this case. No one will come out and no one will check on whether what is contained in that protection order, that you are living strictly according to what that order has said to you, right? Stay away from me 500 meters, for instance, or 100 meters away from me. Stop calling me, right? But it happens that you call me, right? So where's your recourse as someone who has had this paper and what the person has been told not to do to you, that they still continue to do it, right? So you are forced again to approach the courts to hold that person in contempt. But no one talks about the emotional toll that is taking on you, the financial toll that it takes, because it's you who must get into a car, who must get into a taxi to go to the courts again to try and enforce this thing that you believe was supposed to be to protect you, right? We call it a protection order.
Now, advocates, I just want to take you back a little, because in Lee's case, it's an extreme case, and unfortunately it's at the end. But I think where women often get confused is, when should I take a protection order? At the moment that I'm threatened, or do I wait for the physical violence? Like, when does a woman actually go to the police station to obtain the protection order?
I don't think anyone should sit idly by when you are threatened and give it a pass and say, maybe, something it's not real, right? Any threat is real. Don't ever downplay all of that, right? Once you feel unsafe, whether it's in your home, whether it's in the workplace, any area where you feel threatened by whoever, whether it's your partner, whether it's your colleague at work, take action, right? The challenge is with law enforcement. Once you do that, to them, they don't think it's serious, right? They trivialize it, right? They in fact say to you, why don't you go and sort it out, right? That's not their role to do that. They're not social workers. They're law enforcement agents, right? So I'm coming in to report a crime that you as SAPS official or first responder at the police station, you have an obligation to take my statement, investigate what I have said, and in the event that you find that there is merit to what I have said, you charge. So that then you transfer that docket to a competent prosecutor who will then proceed with the prosecution of that individual, right?
Now, advocates, I just want to pause you there, but when we return from the break, I want us to delve deeper into, SAPS, in fact, turning away people who are there to obtain the protection orders. But Mbogele, I guess it's ishelele itolo siyabuya nehambeli zethu sikhumbuza ukuthi sikhona ku YouTube kanye ne SABC Plus. Unganyakazi. Sikubingelele sikwamukele futhi ohlelweni sikhuluma ngabesifazana abahlukunyezwa noma babulawe sebephethe imiyalo yokuvikelwa noma ama protection orders nehambeli zethu. Advocate, before we went to the break, we were talking about women who actually do go to the police station and do try to get these protection orders but are turned away. How do we counter this?
So remember, protection order also it's a court process, right? So you go to your nearest magistrate court, right? Because we've got domestic violence courts in this country, right? That's where you get your interim protection order. Remember, it's interim because I'm the complainant. I go through, I appear before a magistrate to say this is what has happened to me. The magistrate, on the strength of what I have put in my form, you fill in a form, right? That sets out the issues, right? The magistrate, on the strength of that, says, I'm giving an interim protection order. That must be served on the person that you allege has violated you, right? That person is given the right to return, right, on a specific date so that they can defend, or he can defend whether that order must be given for, it's no longer interim, it's no longer a provisional interim order, it's now standing full protection order. So you will then have to come back to the court to, say to the court, I did not beat her up, right? But we can see that there's a J88. The court says, but you did. And now we're making this order final.
Now, Sihle, I want to bring you into the conversation. As a group that advocates for women's rights and the protection of women against GBV, we as a show, we as Khulume, had invited the Department of Social Development to be part of this conversation, and they ignored us. We further wrote to the Portfolio Committee of DSD, and they too ignored our pleas. What does this say about how serious the department takes the crisis of GBV in the country?
Good afternoon. I just want to say that the fact that DSD has ignored your calls and they do not return back to you, it should show you that on a high level, if they are able to ignore you and not return back to you when you want answers, the frustration that we have as NPOs, as foot soldiers on the ground, when we need Department of Social Development to come on board, to work with us, to help us find solutions, is on another level. So I'm not surprised that they have actually gaslighted you and have not responded back to you.
And I mean, what structural changes need to happen in order to ensure ukuthi umuntu wesifazane noma ngabe ehamba eyovula i-protection order agcini ngokuthi umhlukumezi wakhe amhlukumeze more ke manje?
I always preach this, that behind the uniform is a human being. And that human being who is wearing the uniform of a South African police serviceman, it's either a victim or a perpetrator in gender-based violence. So if emsebenzini wabo abakhona ukubasiza ngobalapha engqondweni noma abantu ba-face the law, bazosiza kanjani thina as a public? Because siyakubo shokhala ukuthi hayibo siyahlukumezwa izinto ezisokwenziwa sona so, kodwa siyabona manje kumadlanga commission ukuthi hayibo kade sikhalela ubala phela ngoba uye emaphoyiseni yoreport into kanti lapha emaceleni ngibona futhi amaphoyisa abaplanelayo ukuthi hayibo bayogqiba phansi. So like I always say ukuthi iqala from education ukuthi lapha abaphethe amaphoyisa number one, sibonile nje ukuthi ngeke simeqalelwe phansi fakwe isikolo kabusha abantu bafundiswe ngokuhlukumezwa nokubezwa kwabantu besifazane nezingane also nokuhlukunyezwa kwamadoda because sometimes amadoda asiwafaki in the picture uthola ukuthi indoda nayo ihlukumezekile inyukubezekile nayo indoda but ayikwazi ukukhuluma because i-focus is always on umama nengane.
No, Sihle siyabonga kakhulu siyabuya khona manje ake siyitolo mangabe sibuya sizoqhubeka futhi la sigcine khona embukele unganyakazi siyabuya khona manje kanti sikhumbuza ukuthi sikhona ku YouTube ne SABC Plus. Sasiphetha Mbukeli ake sizwe kuyihambeli zethu ukuthi yini okumele yenziwe ngokusheshsha ukulwisana nokuhlukunyezwa nokubulawa kwabesifazane bephethe ama protection orders. Sihle, I mean kuyacaca la ukuthi leli phepha leli is not enough ukuvimba abahlukumezi. So yini engenziwa njengamanje to immediately stop lesi sihlava?
Ngicela uphindele.
Ngithi kuyacaca sihle ukuthi noma abantu besifazane sebewaphethe lama protection order akwenza ukuthi abahlukumezi bayeke. So yini engenziwa immediately ukuthi kudilwe nalesihlava sokuhlukunyezwa kwabesifazane?
Yazi ama protection order into engasebenzi futhi ngoba uthola ukuthi lokho hlukumezayo uyakwazi ukuthi adeze iphoyisa ambribe amnika imali iphoyisa lijike libhekeleni abangakusizi ngalutho. Yini into engasiza thina South Africa like I always say funeke amaphoyisa acorrupt asuke endleleni. Number 2 funeke senze sure ukuthi makune protection order enforcement yakhona loyo muntu omnyukubezayo. That is why honorable president thina ama-perpetrators of gender-based violence uzokwenza sure ukuthi kube nzima ukuthi bathole i-bail. Sakujabulela lokho sakamukela ukuthi hawu at least-ke abantu besifazane abazokhona ukuthuseleka bazosurvive. No, uthola ukuthi unyukubezwa uhlukunyezwa umuntu ohlala naye noma umakhelwane wakho noma umuntu one-access yokufika kwakho. Mase niqedile court nalelo phepha uyakwazi ukubuya ebusuku abribe iphoyisa ayenze whatever afuna ukuyenza. Ingakho sithi thina siyacela ukuthi ama-cases of gender-based violence mawafakelwe iyibuko and implementation enzima yokuthi kungabi into esiyixoxayo nje kuphela makuyi-16 days of activism or kube into esiyixoxayo kuphela ngoba sesibona umuntu le ngaphandle usebulelwe because of femicide. Funeke izinto manje zibe implemented. Ingakho upresident wethu makalontsha i-committee, the National Committee on Gender-Based Violence, sizasayibo iku-national but will it come down in the provincial because thina ama-foot soldiers esisebenze siyabona kwenzakalani but asina support.
Sihle ngicela ukukumisa lapho advocates, before we wrap up I just want to bring you in. We've clearly stated that the paper is failing, but there are other electronic mechanisms that can be used to protect women. What is available for them?
We've got many instruments to hold those who violate others, right? What you don't have is a fully functioning justice system. And we need to acknowledge that with a country of over 60 million people, with the high levels of crime in this country, the high levels of gender-based violence that are prevalent and pervasive, we have not put the requisite resources required for us to fight this scourge. We have not. No matter what they say, we have not put those resources. By putting a council in place, it's just one stopgap measure, right? What we require is a criminal justice system that is responsive. At the moment, it's not. It's fraught with corruption, it's fraught with maladministration, it's fraught with inefficiencies, it's fraught with ineffectiveness. So we are not going to make headway on this subject matter and beyond on crime in this country unless and until such time that we put the required resources to match the number of the population that we have in this country. And when we say we put resources, we're not just putting boots on the ground, we're putting people who have got consciousness, right? Who have got empathy to understand that when someone comes to them with a complaint, they act swiftly and promptly, but with compassion.
Mbukeli, unfortunately, sesifike emaphatheleni nohlelo sibonge ngokuhlanganyela nathi kanye nehambeli zethu u-Advocate Brenda Madumise Pajibo, who's the director of Wise for Africa, kanye noSihle Sibisi, a GBV activist from Gwanele Foundation. Kimina uSebe Buthelezi Mashenge, ngithi nje iyobonana ngokuzayo.